Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for Gifts from the Hive with the BeeChicas, who are here on screen with me. I'm Kathy Lane, Programs, Events, and Outreach Coordinator with Boulder Public Library, and Celine Cooper is behind the scenes running the live stream. Before we begin, I want to go over some housekeeping. First, this event is being recorded and will be available on Boulder Public Library's YouTube channel after today. All of our online events are an extension of library services, and library conduct policies apply in our online space. If you enjoy this presentation, we have more upcoming virtual programs, including cooking and gardening in time for the holidays. Please visit our website at boulderlibrary.org for our full virtual events calendar. And Seed to Table is this event is part of that. And so you can go to boulderlibrary.org, Seed to Table, to see some of those programs. We'd like to thank the Boulder Library Foundation for its generous sponsorship of this and so many of our events. Finally, at any time during this event, you can post your questions in the chat. Log into your Google, YouTube, or Facebook account to post questions. We'll address these later during the audience Q&A portions of the event. Boulder Public Library and the City of Boulder have been working with the BeeChicas since 2015 for Seed to Table workshops, and they take care of our library beehives on the roof and offer usually their hands-on workshops each month with all of you. So BeeChicas have created videos, recipes, and other projects, so you can visit their website at beechicas.com. And so I'd like to introduce Tracy, Teresa, Deborah, and Cynthia. They are artists, scientists, gardeners, beekeepers, and really good friends to the environment, to just educating us about how we can also help improve our community with healthy food and supporting the pollinators. So BeeChicas, thank you for adapting this, what would be an in-person workshop, and welcoming us into your homes.
Thank you, Kathy. We are really happy to be here sharing one of our passions with you. Our passion is bees and educating about pollinators, honeybees today, but native bees and in past workshops. And here we are on the roof of the Boulder Public Library, and that's Cynthia waving. And we have currently one active hive on top of the roof of the Boulder Public Library. You'll see us if you look up from the creek path, you might see us on the roof tending the bees. We just love to educate about how you can protect our pollinators and help them. And today we get to share with you kind of the gifts from all our efforts of beekeeping and protecting pollinators. So sharing with you some beeswax gifts that you can make at home. So we're going to first talk a little bit about beeswax. Deborah's going to speak about that, and maybe a little bit about just why bees are so amazing to us. We honeybees are kind of the gateway into bees, but honeybees aren't even native to North America. There are about 1,000 different native bees in Colorado and 20,000 around the world. And if you combine the number of species of bees with wasps, it's more than plants. So it's amazing to us, and hopefully to you too. You can go out in the spring and watch for some of these emerging bees. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about winter in the beehive and what the bees are doing right now to keep warm through winter. So I'm going to pass the torch on to Deborah so she can talk about our honeybees right now.
Actually, I'm going to take over on this, on what bees are doing right now. And welcome to our workshop. In the autumn, we do hive inspections to make sure that all of the bees are going into winter full of stores, winter stores, like honey and pollen, so that they can make it through the winter. They stay in the hive and they do not hibernate. They actually stay active in the hive. And in fact, if they get cold, which they can do because it gets cold outside, just the ambient temperature of the colony stays around in the 90s, and they keep the queen right in the middle, and they protect her and keep her warm. And then let's see, what else did I want to tell you about this? We have, the bees that are born in the fall, they winter over, and the queen stops laying right now. We've gone into our hives when it was warm enough, and some of the hives didn't have any brood at all in there. And you can take it to the next one, Tracy, please. There we are. So this is a cool picture of a thermal picture of what the colony looks like inside of a Langstroth hive. A Langstroth has the boxes on top of each other, and that is a thermal picture of the colony inside of that hive. And see how cold it is down at the bottom and all around the hive? It stays kind of cold in the empty parts of the hive. And the bees themselves, they dislocate their wing joints, I guess you'd call them, and they can vibrate their wings very, very fast, and that keeps the bees warm. And then they alternate. They go back in, and some other bees come onto the outside. The queen always stays in the middle. And one more slide, Tracy. And we're going to talk about why beeswax is so special. Before I want to tell you, though, about our bees on the roof. We only have one beehive right now. Usually we have 2 beehives, but we went in for our last inspection and we found out that the queen was not there. And when you have a colony with no queen, that is pretty much a doomed hive. So what we had to do was combine the 2 hives that we had together with the queen on the bottom, and then the other bees that didn't have a queen, we put on top, and we put a piece of newspaper, and they chewed through, and they combined beautifully. And we made sure they had about 100 pounds of honey on that hive and lots of pollen to winter over with. So beeswax is so special. It's been lighting homes with candles for thousands of years. At the turn of the century, the 1900s, 1 in 3 families had beehives in Boulder. And because that supplied the honey for sweetener, since the cane sugar wasn't as available, and it also lit their homes. And the nectar is how they make the honey. They get nectar from plants. In the springtime is what's called the nectar flow, and it's usually the fruit trees in Boulder. Last year we had a frost and we didn't have any fruit blossoms. And then throughout the spring and summer, they gather nectar from all these wonderful, beautiful plants, especially natives. We like to highlight that. And how wax is made by 10 to 20-day-old bees, so pretty young bees. And it takes 7 to 10 pounds of honey, which is a lot of honey, to make 1 pound of wax. And so you see in the middle, you can see there is a young bee with wax scales coming from glands underneath the bee. And the bees help each other by taking that out and forming their honeycomb with those wax scales. So now we're going to do our first giveaway for our participants that registered for the class and that are here. And how are we going to do this, Cynthia?
So I'll just take it from here, and I wanted to have a little brief moment to say thank you to everyone who follows us on Instagram at BeeChicas. And we did a little giveaway on our Instagram. And so if you participated, thank you so much. Thank you for tagging people, and thank you for your interest. And we did a random drawing, and we have a winner whom I'm about to show, who's going to win a beeswax wrap making kit. So it's a little package that we've put together, everything you need to make beeswax wraps. And drum roll, please. There's the final kit. Hive today is our big winner. Woohoo! That's our big announcement. I'll get in touch, direct message to Hive today, and we'll mail that out. So congratulations, and thank you to our Insta followers. And for all of you that are joining us today, thank you for joining our workshops in person in the past and today virtually. And so we have a gift for you, since we're not able to make things with you and have you take them home. We're going to give away right now one lip gloss made by the BeeChicas with our lemony minty lip balm recipe, and one lip shimmer made by Tracy. She'll show that has a little bit of color and a little bit of festive holiday shimmer to it. You can have it for yourself or give it as a gift. And so Kathy, I think, has a way that she's going to randomly draw from people that are on our class today.
For those who registered, we did a random drawing of everyone's names, and we will get in touch with you directly by email. So look for an email from me to ask for your mailing address. But Janet K. and Rachel D., congratulations for being registered winners. Thank you.
So I'm going to take it from here. Thanks, Tracy and Sin. This is a picture of the BeeChicas up on the rooftop working in our library hives. And this, we wanted to show you just how beeswax looks inside of the hive. The bees draw down wax. Since we are foundationless beekeepers, we put strips of wax in, and the bees will draw down a full frame of wax inside of the frame you see there. And the white on the outside of that frame, since this is a frame of capped honey, mostly capped honey, the white you can see is what we remove. Those are called cappings, and that's what we remove to access the honey. And if you go to the next slide, you can see what we do with those cappings once we take them off the frame. So that picture in the upper left are the wax cappings that are draining. The honey is draining out of those. And those are the creme de la creme of wax processing. It's brand new, completely clean wax every season. And that's what we love to make any of our cosmetic products out of. Our lip balms or face creams. That is beautiful, brand new beeswax. And so we get that from the cappings, and then all the other little bits and pieces of wax when we're inspecting a hive and we scrape off a little piece here or there, or we melt down a whole frame because we're recycling it, we will use a solar wax melter, which is in the lower left. And basically we use the power of the sun to help us do our work. We put beeswax in there, and in literally less than an hour, it will all melt down into a glass pan of water, and we will get this beautiful chunk of perfect beeswax, which is bright yellow sometimes because of the propolis and the other things that the bees have in the hive. But it smells fantastic, and it's a very easy process. And on the next slide, we talk about some of the other ways that we use, the magic of beeswax and all the benefits of it. Teresa already pointed out how bees make wax, and many people think that honey is the most incredible resource from a hive. And it is. It absolutely is a wonderful resource. But in terms of energy output, beeswax is so much more precious. It takes 12 bees to make a teaspoon of honey, which in itself is an amazing fact, but it takes 100 bees to make that same amount of beeswax. And bees only make, well, I mean, not only, you can stimulate it with sugar water, but naturally, bees will only make beeswax, the majority of it, in the spring during the nectar flow. So it doesn't happen all year long. It's not something they do throughout the season. So that makes it even more precious. And it's unbelievable. It's antimicrobial, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. It's a humectant. It will actually draw moisture to your skin. And of course, the protective barrier, if you ski or if you're outdoors at all and you use beeswax salves, they help protect your skin from the temperature fluctuations. And it's a natural exfoliator. It's incredible. And there are lots of products. I mean, we're making just a couple of things with you today, but there's so many ways you can use beeswax in your home. I think it's Teresa or somebody uses it to get drawers, sticky drawers to pull in and out, and zippers. And of course, if it protects our skin, it will also protect leather and clothing for moisture. And then I think we might have another giveaway, Sin.
Yay. Okay. Our second lucky giveaway is a hand salve. So this is another thing that the BeeChicas have made in the past at workshops, and we would have made if we were making it in person. So this is a soothing hand salve, and we'd like to give that away now.
Great. And the lucky winner is Jess G. So I'll be emailing you from my work account. And we have two questions for you. Are you ready for questions, or is that going to come later?
No, great. Now's a good time.
Yeah, we'll take questions.
Great. So why did you put newspaper between the two hives?
I into that. You only put a single sheet of newspaper between the two colonies, and we all put a little slit with like a box cutter in between on the newspaper, in between the two colonies, so that they can smell one another. Because if bees were combined immediately without a barrier like that, then the ones that don't have a queen may go down and actually kill the queen because they don't recognize her. So what you want to do is combine them slowly. And it takes about 2 or 3 days. We went in a week later just because of the weather. It was too cold to go in earlier. And we picked up those supers, and the entire newspaper was gone. And they take that newspaper and they bring it down to the bottom of the hive and they push it out the front door. They're very hygienic and they like to clean house.
Nice, thank you. And then the next question is from someone who has sensitive skin. Are there any allergens I need to be aware of when using beeswax on my skin?
Teresa, that might be a question you can answer. Teresa is really sensitive to propolis, and if there's a residue of propolis, does it bother your skin at all?
No, I have used propolis spray, and I've used something on my lips. I guess propolis is really good for what I've heard for like a canker sore, or like for your lip, a sore. I use that, it swelled up. So you don't want to use a product that, unless you're sure that you're not allergic to it. Some people are allergic to oils, essential oils. So you just have to know what's in there. And
but I think you can choose the oils that you can with like that are good for your skin. But the beeswax, I've never heard of anybody having a sensitivity to the actual just beeswax. And that's why I asked Teresa, because sometimes beeswax will have a residue of propolis in it. And that's the only case I've heard of where someone is sensitive to products from the hive.
Yeah, for me, it's just straight propolis, but beeswax I've never been sensitive to.
Cynthia?
I will say that I have heard of beeswax, and old beeswax can start gathering pollutants from the atmosphere as it comes in with the bees.
Yeah.
People have found pesticide residues in beeswax, which is why, to Deborah's point earlier, we like to use the wax cappings that have just been created just that year. And we know they're fresh and they don't have residues in them yet. So that would be something, if at all possible, to get clean wax cappings, beeswax, to use when you make your products.
And we like to recycle our comb. So the bees, they have a brood chamber and they have eggs and larvae, and they beeswax has a buildup of pesticides. But where the honey is, that's clean wax. So we always use clean wax when we're doing our products.
We should mention that maybe a source for beeswax, it's on our handout that we'll link to it. link to. But a source for beeswax is from Bee Squared Apiaries in Berthoud. And so that way you know the beekeeper, and it's less likely to have pesticides than commercial wax.
True.
Right. And we have one more question before you get on to the next is, do you sell kits, balm making, candle making, etc., to make bee-related items? I'd love to get my kids involved in making something fun. Thank you.
Oh, that is a really good question. It's not something that we typically do to sell kits. We're trying to facilitate it so that you guys can put together the kits, and we have a link in the recipes of all the places that we would shop to get oils and pine rosin for beeswax wraps, and beeswax as well.
And
Great.
I would just say, look forward to our in-person workshops, because your kids are welcome to join us. And what we really love to do is work together with you. So that's what we're aiming for, reinstating our in-person workshops.
Yeah.
Here,
The handout, I'm going to show it to you right now on my computer screen. If you go to BeeChicas.com, there's a how-to page, and let's see, how-to. And we have here different recipes from our previous workshop on cooking with honey and baking with honey. But if you scroll down a little bit more, we have some recipes here for a lotion bar, a facial mask, a headache balm recipe. And what we're making today is, let's see, where is it, Cynthia?
Back up, beeswax. There it is, on the far right.
Oh, here it is. Beeswax lip balm. Okay, so it's a few recipes, and this is going to be kind of small, but you can go to the BeeChicas website and print this out yourself. And we have here a few recipes that are going to be demonstrated in this workshop, and then resources down here: Bee Squared Apiaries or Rebecca's Apothecary, and that's a local apiary in Berthoud. And then Bulk Apothecary is great for oils as well. So I hope that helps.
And you can always email us if you have any questions on our website.
And actually, right at the moment, right on our landing page on our website, if you scroll down to today's class, you can go right to that too.
Okay. Where is that, Cynthia?
Go BeeChicas.com, right on our landing page.
Okay.
Our homepage.
Yep.
And just go down right there on the left.
This one.
The library. And then you can just click Get Class Handout.
Okay, that's wonderful.
That's there.
Cynthia has done a wonderful job on our website. This is when we were combining the hives here on the right. Can you see this photo?
Yeah.
You can see the library in the background. You can see this is a hive that didn't have the queen. She died in a mite treatment, we expect. We don't know how she died. There was no sign of her. But this hive here was quite strong with a good queen pheromones. And we just stacked these bees on top of this hive. So we had about, 5 boxes, Teresa?
Yes, and then we reduced them after a week and took off the empty combs and equipment that the bees didn't need. But we expect them to overwinter in a really strong manner. And then in the spring, we can split them and buy a new queen so that we can start a new hive.
And the benefit of that is that we prevent swarming when we split a hive. So that's one of the ways that we manage hives in the springtime, is split our strong hives. And we hope this one will be a strong hive. This is which one? Book Bee Bed and Breakfast, I think.
Yes, and then we like to either purchase or get a new queen from a beekeeper so that we have different genetics up there. That makes a stronger apiary. All right, we can go on to the next one.
Okay, so we had put out a list of materials, and I don't know if anyone out there is ready to gather the materials on your materials list and go ahead and make lip balm now. This is the time in our class when we would just do a little bit of a demonstration and then have you make your own. So if you're ready to do that, gather up your materials from the materials list, and you may also need these other few things on the slide: a measuring cup or a mason jar, which is used as like a double boiler in a saucepan of simmering, not boiling, but just slowly simmering water. And I use a chopstick as a stir stick when everything's melting together. And then I always like to put a cookie sheet down when I'm pouring into small containers. So if I don't make it all into the container, it's not going to go on my counter, and I can just scoop it back up from the cookie sheet. And then all of the ingredients that you had listed out earlier, or that are on the recipe, which is actually on the next slide. So do you want to go to, yeah, here's the recipe. And instead of doing a live demonstration right now, we're going to switch to a video and show you. We use this video for a couple of other classes we've done, but it really just is a demonstration video of us making lip balm, and you can follow along with that, or you can see it on our YouTube channel and pull it up again later when you're ready to make the recipe. So
And it's only a 12-minute video, pretty short.
Yeah. So maybe looking at the recipe, I might add that if you're sensitive to coconut oil, you can substitute olive oil as a wonderful one. If you want to substitute out shea butter, because it can be expensive, you can also use more olive oil or almond oil, cocoa butter. And another one that we love is jojoba oil, because it's similar to our own oils in our skin and it absorbs nicely. So shall I start the video, Cynthia?
yes.
Okay.
And just while she's getting that queued up, we've tried this, and you may have to turn your volume up a little bit because the sound on these videos wasn't coming through really, really loudly. So find your volume button on your own computer and you'll be able to hear it better.
Hi, welcome to the BeeChicas workshop on lip shimmers and salve. I'm Teresa Chica. I'm Cynthia. I'm Deborah. And I'm Tracy. We're so happy that you are joining us today for this craft. So let's get started. Beautiful gifts from the Hive. Here we go. If you are joining us, you may have gotten a kit from the lifelong learning class prep. And we thought we would just do a quick little video to demonstrate how our best way to make lip balms and hand salves. And you have your handout recipe, and you'll notice that hand salve and lip balm is the same recipe. It can be the same recipe. So to simplify things, we're using the same exact recipe, and the only difference will be if you'd like to add different essential oils for different scents for the hand salves versus the lip shimmers. So, so to get started, we gathered all of our ingredients. So we have beeswax, coconut oil, shea butter, vitamin E oil, which is an optional nice oil, and essential oils. We have peppermint and lemongrass, and Teresa had a little lavender, so we might decide to add some of that later. And then we have these beautiful little molds of 100% beeswax that we've included in the kit, and we're going to show you how to use it in your products. Okay, so probably the best way to do this is by weight, because you can get more precise on the measurements. So we have a little handy kitchen scale here. So this is a digital scale, and I'm just going to press a button. It's going to say 0 pretty soon. I'll put it down.
You're tearing it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it says 0, and then I'm putting this glass Pyrex container on it, and now I'm going to zero it out. I'm tearing it. So I'm got it at 0.
Yeah.
And the first product that we are going to add to our lip shimmer is 9 grams of beeswax. Okay, so we've got this beautiful little bee. It's about 18 grams. We're going to cut it in half. We're going to take half of it and put it into that. Now that says
Oh,
7.
close. Okay.
But we've got some little, you can take some of this and add it to it, or we have some little extra pieces here. And now it says 11. Okay, that's too many. And so we'll just tear that in half. And now we've got 9. So that's 9 grams.
Okay, and we want 24 grams of coconut oil.
Okay, we pre-measured this.
So and we like to use organic coconut oil. We always like to use organic things because buying organic supports the bees, because bees are pollinated a lot of products. So,
So what I'll do is I'll tear this off again. I will zero that out. I'll put in the coconut oil, and that's 25, but 24. It measures differently sometimes. And then after that, we're going to add shea butter.
we got this shea butter. It's really nice. We got it from Rebecca's Apothecary here in Boulder, and it's a nice source for shea butter. But you can also find shea butter either online or at a natural food grocers.
Yeah.
It's pretty
It
common.
says raw and organic in that one. So-
Yes.
And next, we're going to put that in. So I'm going to zero this one out again. And we'll see how many grams we need of this. 11. Is that what we
Perfect.
need?
Yep.
11 worked out really well.
Okay, so that is it. It's very simple. We are going to put this on and melt it on the stove, and then we will show you our pouring it in and adding the essential oils in the next.
So
Okay.
we'll put this over on the stove.
Okay, and the great thing about Pyrex is that you can use it as a double boiler. And so Teresa's about to put it in a pot of boiling water, and then it has a spout to pour it from.
So everything has melted perfectly together, and I'm using this wooden skewer as a stir stick, which is really handy, and then you don't have to get wax on your spoon. And I'm using a little hot pad. Sometimes the handle gets a little warm. And I'm going to take it over and pour it into my tins.
But before we do that, we put all of our oils in.
Right, so right now, if you would like to have your hand salve and your lip shimmers the same, you can put the essential oil in now in this. But we thought we were going to do the lip shimmers a different scent from our hand salve. So we're going to put the essential oil directly into these little tiny tins. And I'm going to put in a little bit of peppermint oil, just about 2 or 3 drops. And Teresa's going to put 1 or 2 drops of lemongrass in each one of these tins.
So you can do any combination of essential oils. Some of our favorites are lavender and orange. I like rose scented geranium, and they all have different benefits for your skin.
Okay, so I have a bunch of little lip shimmers, and I have essential oil in the bottom. And now I'm going to just pour, and I don't want to fill it up completely. I fill it just so you can see a little line inside, and it will drip a little bit. So sometimes I just hold it a little bit still, let that last drip drop before I move to the next one.
It smells so good.
It does smell good. And you could stir this up a little bit with your skewer if you'd like to disperse the essential oils. Okay. And I put out a few more than I thought I would need, just because I wouldn't want to run out. And for you at home, you might want to just pour a couple, like 1 or 2 lip balms, and save the rest for your hand salve. Okay. And I'm using this just to pour the last little bit in. Great. And now we're going to mix, mix, mix.
And then do we want to do the mica?
And a couple of them, I think we should do the mica.
Okay.
So what we've given everyone is a little bit of sangria. Look at that color, isn't that beautiful? So we don't need very much. A little goes a long way. So it's 1/4 of a teaspoon for the entire
Do you think that's
recipe.
It's a little bit much, I think.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
just
So it's even less. That's
So
just
For the whole recipe, it's about 1/4 to a half
for the
teaspoon.
whole recipe.
Mhm.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Just put that there.
and I'll stir it up.
And
You want
usually,
to do it pretty quickly so that it can disperse before it starts getting hard.
yeah, it might be easier to do it in the Pyrex container before we pour.
But this way we can save it.
You can individualize them.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like
It's beautiful. Do we want to do another one? Yeah. Okay, maybe one more. One more.
And this
Very
volume
rich
is
color.
for like thousands of them. It's a bulk supply from Rustic Essentials. But you can buy little tiny packets at Rebecca's Apothecary. I think it needs more.
Yeah, I haven't really gotten those. We'll mix it up a little bit more. Maybe that's be a lighter color, because you can have a darker color and a lighter color.
Yeah,
just
depending
depends.
on how much
Yeah.
you put in. Look at it's turning.
Now it's starting to get mixed.
So it's iron oxide and what is it? Just it's mica and iron oxide. The color is iron
Yes.
oxide.
That's a beautiful color. All right, I'll start mixing some of these other ones too. Okay, are we gonna leave this the same, or? I think they're starting to solidify. They are starting to get
Yeah, I think
solid. Okay. And don't waste this little bit that's on here. Rub it on your hand or put it on your lips. I would, but then I just get it all over my mask. So we wanted to mention a couple other ideas that we have for making the hand salves. You can either put your hand salve just in a tin like this, which you have, or if you happen to have any silicone molds or wanted to get some, they have really cute ones. And don't forget to look in the kitchen aisle, because sometimes for cooking they have these silicone molds, which are great for making hand salves.
And they're often like ice cube trays, aren't they? The
They could
silicone
be.
molds. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I
really
put,
fun.
once I pour the beeswax in, I put that in the freezer to let it set up, and it really works
Pops
great.
out
Pops
easily.
right out.
Yeah, so you just make sure when you're doing this that you add a little extra beeswax to the recipe. So maybe an extra gram or so. And pop it in the freezer. Just pour it directly into the mold. Pop it into the freezer. And they pop right out and look just like this.
And a test to see whether or not you have enough beeswax for it to be hard enough is to pour some out like on a spoon and place that in the freezer. And then you can use the back of your thumbnail and scrape it, see if you like that consistency, or you might have to add more beeswax or add more oil. And the ratio is usually about 1 part beeswax to 3 part oil for these softer lotions. And then you add more beeswax, like maybe 25% more.
And then you just do that directly in that Pyrex container,
Yeah.
and then you put it in a double boiler, and there you go.
Yeah. And here's another really cute example that Teresa had. Someone put cocoa powder on the top of this.
That sunflower, and it smells so
It
good.
does.
Makes
Smells
me
so
good.
good.
And then remember,
Yeah.
you can do any essential oils that you like. You can do pine scents, and you can do citrus or lavender. And then don't forget to do cute packaging. These are just a few things I gathered from the garden. Make a little bouquet that you can tie on as a bow
So
to make a
pretty.
nice gift.
And you just gathered these things right from your garden?
Yes, this is
Look at rose
lavender
hips.
bunny tail grass,
Mhm.
and this is rose hips.
Yeah. You can also use washi tape, probably, Sid, to tape it down, like and go around the whole tin, for instance.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, or you can use a string or this is like recycled, upcycled fabric that's you've cut into strips,
Yeah.
which is great. But washi tape's nice because you can use it to write on a little message or a label of some
That's
kind.
cute.
Beautiful.
And be creative with your labels. We gave you some BeeChicas labels. There's also this label, which you can write your own on. You can
Tracy made those.
Yeah,
They're
you can
beautiful.
write a message to someone or the ingredients. That's what I was thinking. You might put the ingredients on the back in case anyone's allergic, but
Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you have fun making beautiful gifts from the hive.
Okay, so there was an example of how to make lip balms and lip shimmers. And we do also want to demonstrate to you if you don't already know how to make beeswax wraps. And so we have a quick little video that will queue up of Tracy showing how to make
We
some
do,
wraps,
Cynthia. We
unless
do
we
have
have
some
any
questions. So we had a question saying, I bought triple filtered beeswax pellets organic. Will that work?
Wow, that sounds
Great.
wonderful.
Great.
Yeah,
And then the same
perfectly.
person asked, is there any reason to wash the containers first before putting in like the lip balm or hand salve?
I probably would wash them out. We wash our honey jars, and I think
I think if you're putting it on your lips or, you know, on your body,
Treat it
yes,
like
probably a
food.
good idea to wash it.
Okay.
And I wanted to clarify. I added up our percent of beeswax versus oil because I was just curious. I really like the consistency of our recipe, like of our lip balm. So we use 20% beeswax. So you can do that at home. Use 20 if you want, like a soft kind of lip balm. It's about 20% beeswax, and any oils that you really want to use, you can. And then for a bar, because Cynthia showed the lotion bars, those are around 30% beeswax. So just to make it firmer. So, and you can do the spoon test that we talked about in the video a little bit, just to test the consistency, whether or not you want to add more oil or beeswax to make it firmer.
My favorite lotion bars that we've made in the past at our workshops at the library is the foot lotion bar, because it has tea tree oil in it and rosemary. It smells wonderful, and it's a little firmer. We make that one a little firmer so we can scrub it on our heels.
Great.
And that recipe is under how-to on our BeeChicas website.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then one more question, and then we'll let you get to the next video. So if the mixture gets hard in the glass container, is it okay to put it in the microwave to reheat, or how would you recommend reheating it?
I would recommend putting it back in your double boiler and heat it more gently. That way it's easier to control it. I suppose you could put it in the microwave, but it could get too hot and mess you up a little bit. So I would just put it in the gentle water bath.
It doesn't take very long. And before we do the last video, which is Tracy making beeswax wrap pouches, I wanted to mention that we're doing a grand giveaway at the end of the class. So for everybody attending the class, we're going to have one more gift. So stay tuned.
Yeah. So the difficulty in reheating up your salve to liquefy it again is that the essential oils evaporate. So you just have to add more essential oils. If you use a microwave or the hot water bath, either one, maybe a few more drops. So yeah, keep sending us questions. We really like that. So I'm going to share a video of how to make a beeswax pouch, and we do offer these workshops at the library. We had to use a griddle in this demonstration. There is an oven method that you can use to make a beeswax wrap or pouch. It's just that you can't use pine resin in the oven because the temperatures needs to be quite high to melt the pine resin, and it just doesn't go on smoothly with the oven method. But we have that on our website, right? Is that right, Cynthia? The oven method, or okay, that was in our last workshop then.
Yeah, I think we just have. We really believe in the griddle method. It just seems like it really works better for us, and so that's the one we have on our website.
Yeah.
And if you use the oven method, you can look it up on the internet. It's how we found it. And you need to use the pine resin. You can omit that, and you can use the oven method.
Yeah, and there's a great link on our website to instructions on how to make beeswax wraps. And in that that instruction sheet, there's a link to an oven method for melting beeswax and making wraps in the oven.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen here. And I hope the sound is okay. Let's see. Hi, I am Tracy, one of the BeeChicas, and I'm going to show you how to make a beeswax wrap, well, actually a beeswax like gift pouch that looks like this here. This one just came off of the griddle, and it's pliable and sticky and water resistant and just what you want. So to start, I sewed together some fabric, a rectangle. So it's just like 7 inches by maybe 10 for any shape that you like. And I used some zigzag stitch, and I went all the way around, even on the folded part. So to start, you're going to need some beeswax pellets, or beeswax out of your own beehives would be nice. I can melt some of this. In fact, I will. You need about a tablespoon of the beeswax pellet for this size pouch. So I'm guessing this is about a tablespoon. I love the orange wax. So in my griddle's about almost 200 degrees. So maybe a little more. So about a heaping tablespoon of pellets, but you'll just have to see. You want to make sure the whole fabric is saturated. I need some powdered rosin, about 1/4 teaspoon. This helps it stick to itself, the flap. And you really want to spread this out, because where there's a big blob like that, you can come in here, Noelle. And that probably won't dissolve. It'll just be like a sticky lump. So I'm spreading out the powdered rosin. That looks like plenty. And then I'm going to put a little tiny bit of coconut oil in there, like just about 6 drops of coconut oil.
How much in teaspoons?
Maybe a less than 1/4 teaspoon, like 1/8 teaspoon. I'm afraid that is not going to dissolve. See, that looks good. This wax is nice and yellow. And it's melted together. And I don't see any smoke coming from the wax, so it's not too hot. And I'm going to put my wrap or my fabric on here, fabric pouch, and brush it in. Like so. And I can tell it's not fully saturated there. It's white and opaque, so I can pick up wax around here. And I think it's ready. Just going to use these clothespins to pick it up. I could trim all those bits after. Okay, so this is where you want to make sure that the whole pouch is open. I'm going to use these skewers or chopsticks and pick it up, and then my lovely assistant, thank you. Can you hold that? The clothespin. There we go, like so, and I'm going to hang it up over here. Oops. Like so, and nothing's touching. And that's it.
That was great. Thanks, Tracy. That showed us all the steps, and I love those.
I have a question.
Sure.
What temperature do you keep the griddle at so it doesn't smoke? What's the optimum
Oh,
temperature?
well, beeswax melts at 140, but the pine rosin melts at about 175. But you can keep it up to 200. Same with your oven. Just don't go above 200, because the pine resin can give off some gases that aren't good for you above 200.
And you still want to use it in a well-ventilated area when you're making them, right?
Well, it smells wonderful, and I don't, not with pine rosin. That's a good question.
Your kitchen has enough oil.
Yeah. And caustic painting you do, because there's pigments in there that don't want to overheat or breathe. But the wraps, you can pretty much eat the ingredients.
Great. Is now a good time for some more questions?
Sure.
Oh, sweet.
Great. So one question is, are these balms and salves pet safe? What should I do if my pet accidentally ingests it?
Oh.
That's
Cynthia,
a good question. I think that it'd be totally fine. People can eat it. We put it on our lips. So we essentially end up eating a little bit of it every time we have it on our lips.
I think somebody,
Safe for your dog.
yeah, somebody, I'm guessing the question came up because somebody's dog ate their salve.
I hope not. My dog is in the background. Sorry, it keeps running back and forth. He's a little puppy.
Another question is, does beeswax have a shelf life? And then also, like, does almond or jojoba or the other oils have a shelf life? And is it okay to use them after that time?
That's a good question. Beeswax doesn't have a shelf life, but the oils do. So we store our oils in the fridge often for cooking. So the beeswax salves usually last about a year outside of the fridge. We add essential oils that help preserve or like lengthen the lifespan of the oils, and same with the vitamin E.
I would think if your oils are expired and spoiled, you would smell it. You would get a very strong rancid smell. So oftentimes things can stay good well beyond their expiration date, but I would use the smell test. That's how I always know when my oils especially have passed, is they have a very rancid, yucky smell.
Okay. And so at that point, don't even try to use it for any, okay.
Nope.
And then what kinds of essential oils would you recommend for sensitive skin?
Oh, wow. I think rose and
rose, yeah.
So rose hip seed oil is a wonderful oil for sensitive skin.
Yep.
What other oils? I think rose scented geranium. My own skin is very sensitive, and I use that quite a bit. A really good resource is Rebecca's Apothecary. It's a local shop in Boulder, and they sell the oils there, and they're all certified herbalists, and they do know a lot about skin and which oils to choose. Any other suggestions?
Rose and rose seed oil, which was the more expensive one? I know one is is it the rose itself?
Well, rose essential oil is it's probably the most expensive of the essential oils, but rose seed oil is a
right? Rebecca sells with a little tiny bottle.
Yes, yeah. And rose hip seed oil would be a substitute for like the olive oil or the coconut oil or the shea butter. It's like an added nutritional benefit for your skin. It's not an essential oil.
Great. And we did have a comment from a viewer saying you need to be careful, as many essential oils are very poisonous to pets. So maybe ask Rebecca's about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, good point. I wasn't thinking of the essential oils, but thank you. That's very good.
Yeah. I don't know if the quantity that would be in your lip salve would be enough, but that would definitely be something to look into.
Yeah, it's not very much like, I think it's still safe to consume with the amount that we put in there. In a whole hand salve tin, it might be like 10 drops. Is that right, Cynthia? Like in a large 2-ounce tin or 10.
Yeah, it's an 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon at the most that we put in. And so
in the recipe, the whole
recipes in the whole recipe, which makes about 10 lip balms.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
That's
Thank
good
you.
question. Yeah.
And what other things can you do with beeswax?
Oh,
you can make moustache wax if you have a nice moustache or beard.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good gift to give away if you're looking for something to give the beard guy on your list. That's a cool thing. You can make.
I think my favorite extravagant other product is beeswax candles. Like true 100% beeswax candles, because they burn beautifully. They burn for a long time, and they're precious commodity. So I would say a beeswax candle for me.
Yeah, me too. We even made like birthday candles with beeswax.
So cute.
But the lotion salves, I use them every day on my skin. That's all I use in the morning and at night. And it's those that I make my own. And it really, once you make one batch, it's easy to whip up. It's like baking a recipe. It's just melting down ingredients, mixing them up, and you can reuse tins, jars. We use cardboard tubes a lot.
Can you use the silicone molds, Tracy, for the candles? Sorry.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can buy candle molds that are silicone. The ones that Cynthia was showing are like flat. It wouldn't burn correctly. You need to have like your wick to match your diameter of your candle. So
I wish I had. I have votive, and I have long silicone tapers out of silicone. Super easy to take out of the molds. I'd recommend those. Also, I made a wood preservative and leather.
Yep.
I've used apricot kernel oil and flax and walnut oil and different things to put on wood or even on hive.
Oh, right.
To preserve our hives and
Cutting boards is often mineral spirits or walnut oil and beeswax. So I have that in my kitchen as well.
Great.
So we have 2 more minutes to do our last giveaway. The time?
I think it's
yes
for our final giveaway, unless there's any more questions.
I think that might be all the questions. And it sounds, Teresa, it sounds like there might be a little bit of echoing on your side, but I think we're at the end. So the last person was Adriana P.
I know who that is. Yay.
Congratulations, Adriana. You're going to receive, doesn't someone have something to show, but you're going to get a beeswax pouch.
Yeah.
A lip shimmer, a lip balm, and a hand salve in it. So you get wow prize. Congratulations.
And Adriana, can I give you these 2 birthday candles in here?
Oh.
Celebrate one of these dark evenings. I'm putting it in the pouch.
That's lovely. So folks who are watching, just know we miss being with you in person and being able to make all these things together and experience the smells and also just the enthusiasm and excitement of being together with the BeeChicas, with all of your experience and your wisdom and your passion for protecting bees and helping us have a healthier lifestyle with what we can make at home. So thank you again for welcoming us into your homes. Thank you for putting the videos together. And friends, you can visit BeeChicas.com for more recipes and to ask questions, to email the BeeChicas directly. We also want to thank the Boulder Library Foundation for sponsoring this and so many of the library programs that we're able to offer to all of you today. We thank you, Celine, in the background for running as the tech engineer and chat moderator. And we've got some other, Stella and Alice with us as well, who have been shadowing because we're all learning how to make things online these days. And those of you in our audience who would enjoy this event, please share it with your friends. And this has been recorded. It's available to watch on the Boulder Public Library's YouTube channel. You can visit boulderlibrary.org/seedtotable website for upcoming programs and the Seed to Table YouTube playlist. I know we've got some cooking programs coming up. We've got some community partners who are doing some cooking programs that will be live as well. So friends, thank you so much. We will see you next time.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It was wonderful.